For nearly 2,000 years, Jews and Christians have been divided. But now, God is calling for the healing of past hurts and the comforting of His people. Discover how God is prophetically uniting Jews and Christians across the world today on The Crossover.
Shalom to you all. Shalom is my favorite Hebrew word. It means peace. I was asked by Professor Sheldon Rubenfeld to tell you a little about my life before, during, and after the Holocaust. I am Riki Roussos, a Holocaust survivor from former Yugoslavia. Since 1992, place is called Bosnia and Herzegovina. Many books have been written about the Holocaust, and I am sure you heard a lot about the Holocaust. You may ask, what is old woman like me tell you about Holocaust that you already don't know? You see, ladies and gentlemen, every survivor story is different and unique, and I am sure you have heard a lot about Holocaust in Poland, Germany, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, France, and Romania. But I don't think you have heard a lot about Holocaust in former Yugoslavia. So please put up with me for a few minutes. According to today's standard, my family was not rich in material things, but I had a very, very happy childhood. I remember being surrounded with a lot of loving family members. I had numerous aunts, uncles, and cousins. We spent every Jewish holiday together and shared many things. Most of all, I remember a beautiful Passover Seder at Grandma's home. Unfortunately, this life was shattered, destroyed, and gone forever in year 1941. On April 6, 1941, German army occupied Yugoslavia, and after a few days of German occupation, all Jewish shops were looted, and after a few weeks, all Jewish communal activities were forbidden. My father was a carpenter and had a government job. He worked for a railroad station of Sarajevo. After a few days of German occupation, some of my father's co-workers told him, "Isaac, change your religion, become Muslim or Christian, and you may keep your job." His answer was, "I was born a Jew and I will die as a Jew." On the end of April 1941, my father lost his job. His sole crime was born in Jewish faith. I remember very well, it was last week of October 1941. After midnight was a very loud knock on our front door. When my father opened the door, inside came SS soldier with an armband that had a big swastika, Hakenkreuz, and with him was a ustasha, a local Croatian who collaborated with the Nazis. I remember they had a long list of names that night. On that list was my father's name, Isaac, 48 years old, and my brother, Daniel, years. Daniel was 18 years old. I remember they both were taken that night from our home, and I never saw them again. I remember and never will forget that night. As long as I live, my brother Daniel had a wristwatch that he treasured. It was a present from our Uncle Raphael for his 16th birthday. Of course, today, have a wristwatch is not big deal. Little babies, they have a wristwatch. But 72 years ago, that was a really big deal to have. I remember my brother Daniel took his watch from a counter. The SS soldier grabbed the wrist watch from my brother Daniel, slapped his face and said, "You dirty Jew, you don't need the watch." I remember and never will forget that night as long as I live. The memories of that night will never be forgotten. The Germans, with the help from a Ustasha, Croats who collaborated with the Nazis, organized 19 concentration camps in Yugoslavia. Camps were Lobograd, Stara Gradiška, Đakovo, Jasenovac, Danica, Jadovno, and Sajmište. Jasenovac was one of the largest concentration camps in Yugoslavia. Over 25,000 Jews were starved, beaten, or shot to death in Jasenovac. Most of Jews from Sarajevo were killed in Jasenovac concentration camp. Less than 1,000 Jews from Bosnia and Herzegovina survived World War II.
Wir leben in einer Zeit, in der wir uns aktiv an den Holocaust erinnern müssen.
We are living at a time when we need to actively remember the Holocaust.
Aber wenn wir nicht wissen, was der Holocaust war, der Tod von 6 Millionen Juden, die Verantwortung von Menschen, die geschwiegen haben, dann können wir nicht Verantwortung für die Zukunft nehmen.
But unless we know what the Holocaust was, the deaths of 6 million people, we will never be able to take responsibility for the future.
Wir erleben, wie der Antisemitismus in einer ungeheuren Art und Weise in Europa und auch in Amerika wieder explodiert.
And we're currently seeing a tremendous explosion of anti-Semitism in America and in Europe again.
Und ich wünsche sehr, dass dieser Park und dieses Gelände dazu dient, gemeinsam zu lernen und die Stimme zu erheben.
And I really wish that this park will serve the purpose for learning together and raising our voices together.
During World War II, I was a young child, 7 years old, and my father and family were dislocated from our home. And as that happened, my father was taken to the Jasenovac camp, which is in Croatia, on the river Sava. And I realized that after doing research with some friends, that this was a location and a duty of our people living here to remember and do something about the remembrance of over 700,000 people, of which there were 20,000 children.
Matthias, 48 years old, and my brother Daniel, 18 years old, were killed in concentration camp Jasenovac on February 1942. Their memories be blessed. Just 5 Jews survived Jasenovac. No one is alive anymore. By November of 1941, a total of 15,000 Jews from Bosnia and Herzegovina had been deported to concentration camps. By the end of December 1941, Germans, with the help of collaborating Ustashi, had destroyed all Jewish synagogues and all Jewish cemeteries. A few days after Germans took my father and my brother Daniel from our home, my mom, my brother Samuel, 9 years old that time, and I had moved to my Aunt Rosa and Uncle Rafael Musafia house to live with them. Aunt Rosa was my mom's youngest sister. They had 2 children, Flora and Benzion Dinko Musafia. My grandma Miriam also was living in the same house with them. My uncle Rafael was a tanner and worked for a big company that had many offices in Herzegovina. With the help of some of his Muslim friends, my uncle Rafael got false papers. He moved to Mostar and worked for the same company. At that time, Mostar, a town in Herzegovina, and all of Yugoslav islands on the Adriatic Sea were occupied by Italian fascists after 1941. Most of us want to go to Mostar. Jews from Sarajevo were very naive, thinking that Italian fascists would be more tolerant of the Jews. My uncle Rafael was living in Mostar 1942. He paid a Muslim woman to come to Sarajevo at the end of February 1942 to take my brother Samuel and me to Mostar. Muslim woman brought a forged paper for me and big fuss that Muslim men were for my brother Samuel. My name on the ID identification card was Emilia Pelzer. The Muslim woman was wearing hijab and well that covered her face. My 9-year-old brother Samuel was supposed to travel with her as her son. The woman took my brother and me to the railroad station of Sarajevo. A few minutes before we arrived at the station, she turned around and said, "From now on, I do not know you anymore." Before boarding the train to Mostar, German and Ustash soldier asked for my ID name. I was shaking, I was scared, and I forgot my new given name, Emilia Pelzer. The woman in hijab was behind me, holding my brother's hand. With her other hand, she pushed me, and she said aloud, "Emilia, move." I remember in that second that my new name on ID card was Emilia Pelzer. I gave my ID to the German soldier and told him my name. I was allowed to board the train. The distance between Sarajevo and Mostar is only 60 miles, but it took over 6 hours. Before we reached the station in Mostar, the woman in hijab came near me and whispered in my ear, "When you see me jumping from a train with your brother, do the same." I don't want to get to Mostar station because Italian police and fascists know me and they will arrest me for smuggling people. I did what I was told, a jump from a moving train. I never saw the woman in hijab again. I do not know her name. In my memory, she will be always the woman in hijab. I stayed in Mostar till September 6, 1942. That day, we were ordered by Italian fascists that all Jews living in Mostar had to come to Jewish center with all our possessions, which was not allowed. Everyone had a backpack. Italian fascist soldiers put us on a little boat and took us to a bar. It was an island that was occupied by Italian fascists. My mom, my brother, and uncle, grandma, and cousins stayed on that island 6 months. In April of 1943, we were transported to Rab. This was also a Yugoslav island on the Adriatic Sea, occupied by Italian fascists. Rab had a very poor sanitary conditions. We stayed in wooden barracks. We slept on a floor. There was 16 people in very small wooden barracks. The place was called in Italian Campo de Concentration Camp. It was surrounded with an 8-feet electric barbed wire. On September 6, 1943, was a capitulation of Italian fascists, and at the same time, Tito's partisans liberated the camp. Rab. I remember the children were told, never go close to a wire fence. You touch, you die. When partisans liberated the camp, they started to cut electric fence and told us, children, you are free now, and do not be afraid to come near the fence. Partisans told us, whoever can walk should go with them. I stayed with partisans in the liberated territories of Kordun, Lika, Banja, in present days it is Croatia, mostly taking care of orphan children who depend on us, teaching them to survive. Very few of the 245 Jews that left with the 1st Brigade from Rab survived. No one is alive anymore. In October of 1945, I went back to Sarajevo, hoping to find my father and brother. The population of Sarajevo was very hostile to all Jewish survivors. No one wanted to rent us a room. I stayed for 5 months in a convent living with the nuns. Fortunately, American Distribution Committee helped all Jews who wanted to immigrate to Israel. Why Israel? After World War II, Yugoslavia emerged as a communist country, and Yugoslav population could not travel to other countries. Israel was only country that accepted us. Joint paid for every person exit visa. Over 400 Jews went on one passport, laissez-passer, and Jews had to give up Yugoslav citizenship. With the help of Joint, I left Sarajevo for good on June 15, 1949, and I went to Israel to Kibbutz Shila.
For nearly 2,000 years, Jews and Christians have been divided. But now, God is calling for the healing of past hurts and the comforting of His people. Discover how God is prophetically uniting Jews and Christians across the world today on The Crossover. The Crossover exists to communicate to the Jewish community that there is a growing group of Christians who love them unconditionally. The focus of the Crossover program is to promote a greater understanding of the differences and similarities between Jewish and Christian customs, history, and theology, while encouraging a closer walk with the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. As a second-generation Holocaust survivor, Rosalie's Jewish heritage includes parents who were protected from the Nazis by Christians. Yet for more than a decade, Mitch and Rosalie searched for meaning in life in the New Age movement. But after returning to their Judeo-Christian roots, they discovered God's purpose for their lives: to rebuild bridges between Christians and Jews. Now through TV, radio, the internet, speaking engagements, the healing room, and print and video resources, they are reuniting Jews and Christians in fulfillment of biblical prophecy. Join Mitch and Rosalie as they tackle tough topics and welcome dynamic guests on The Crossover. The Promised Land.
And I also tried to make it very clear to the Christians all over the world that they are threatened to the same extent as the Jews and Israel are threatened. And I also say basically that Jews and Christians are waiting for the Messiah, who is a Jew from Israel who speaks Hebrew. And that Messiah is going to come to Jerusalem. And so Christians share this faith with the Jews.
The Hebraic roots of Christianity.
And we began looking at Jesus through Jewish spectacles and not our Texas spectacles or American spectacles or even Western culture spectacles. He's so much more glorious. He's so much more grand. It does not in any way detract from the fact that he's the Son of God, the risen Savior, but he's also a man.
Judaism 101.
Many times people ask, what is a Jew? Is it a race? Is it a people? Is it a culture?
Jewish-Christian relations. Bible, fact or fiction? For more information on The Crossover and The Crossover Project, contact Rosalie Jerome or log on to our website.
You may ask me, why I'm telling you all these stories. World War ended 72 years ago. I want you to know I hurt very badly. I am still alive, and a lot of professors, writers, and head of states, they said and write, Holocaust never happened. It was a Zionist myth. Jews invented Holocaust in order to have state of Israel. Ladies and gentlemen, I did invent Holocaust. My father was just 48 years when killed. My brother Daniel was just 18 when he was killed. Hitler tried to kill all Jews in Europe. I feel I am a winner and he's a loser. I am blessed with two loving and caring children. Eli Russo and Sarah Roussos-Laska. Both of them have a master's degree in education. I am blessed with 7 grandchildren. Danielle Laska, my oldest grandchild, have a doctorate degree in astronomy and physics from Northwestern University in Chicago. Presently, Danielle is teaching and doing research at University of Vancouver, Canada. My granddaughter, Natalie Laskar-Levkovich, has a master's degree in business administration from Johns Hopkins University. She is presently working for APAC in Washington, D.C., in charge of conducting classes for new employees. Julie Laskar, my granddaughter, graduated with high honors from Emory University in Atlanta and has a master's degree from Johns Hopkins University in international economy. Julie is presently working for a Treasury Department in Washington, D.C. I am blessed with 4 grandchildren in Los Angeles, California. Mikhail Mordechai Russo graduated from Berkeley University in California in education. He is presently teaching algebra and mathematics in high school in Los Angeles. Gabriela Russo graduated from Berkeley University in 2008. Her degrees is painting and design. Gabriela is working presently in Los Angeles as a designer and wardrobe stylist. If anyone needs design clothing for men, women, or children, go on a website, Gabriela Russo Production. That's her. Adina Roussos-Tamar, graduate from University of Berkeley. She is presently teaching in a public elementary school in Los Angeles. My youngest grandson, Jaco Roussos, graduated in May 2015 from University of Santa Barbara in California with degree in the business, is working for an investment company in Los Angeles. Some people say that we Jews find too much about the Holocaust. I say they should be thankful they don't have to. The minute we Jews stop telling about the Holocaust and what happened in Europe during the World War II, or stop whining, people will stop caring about any genocide. It is our duty to educate and talk about what happened to Jews in Europe. With God's help and will, let's hope genocide never happened to any people. I am very grateful to my adopted country, USA, but I love immensely Israel. Israel is only country in the world that accepts and continues to accept every Jew in it. I feel long as Israel exists, we Jews never again will be slaughtered. Thank you very much.
Join Mitch and Rosalie as they reach an ever-growing worldwide audience through the crossover. We invite you to become a crossover partner right now by calling the number on your screen. For your monthly gift of $30 or more, you will receive the Crossover Partnership Pack, which includes a DVD of today's program, a personal greeting and prayer message from Mitch and Rosalie, more information about the Crossover Project. As you continue to support the Crossover each month, you will receive a new Crossover DVD, a monthly ministry report, and your name will be added to the Healing Room. Call now or log on to our website and join the growing family of Crossover Partners. And be sure to join us again next week as Mitch and Rosalie tackle timely topics and welcome dynamic guests on The Crossover.
Lord God of Abraham, Isaac can describe.